Hello, everyone. Hope you are well on this Tuesday evening. I tried to record a video about 3 hours ago from my truck, and I just couldn't get it to upload. So, don't know what's going on. Hopefully, you're going to see this one. Hopefully, I'm not just recording to be recording. Hey, um, we are on our own. We truly, we are on our own. No human is going to save us, or no humans are coming to save the day. Also, speaking of coming, they are more coming. They are coming, and I'll tell you where from soon here in just a moment. I also have a very good passage that I will share with you that I promise will uplift you. So do stay tuned. Okay. First, a couple of things. Biden administration sending another $300 million in weapons to the UKR. You know what I mean over there. What a shocker. I'm so surprised. Not. It's no words. No words right now. Inflation went up some more. What a shocker there. No kidding. No kidding. Of course, now they're putting out some stupid number like zero point 0.4 or whatever percent. Come on. But it did say that as far as year over year for February, well, measuring February year over year, that several things, the things that went up the most as far as inflation, they listed items like as far as food, meat, juices and drinks, baby food, formula, sugar, candy slash chewing gum, also food from vending machines. Y'all take your food, take your snacks with you, pack your snacks, whether you're going to work, shop, wherever. Because from the vending machine, it's going to rip you off like crazy, man. It's a rip off anyway. Getting it from a vending machine, apologies to any vending machine companies if you run one, but gosh, I try to stay away from those things. Automobile insurance. Well, no kidding. Yeah. Automobile insurance. They said 20%. Come on. We know it's at least double that. And the food, I know they don't count that in their CPI, whatever it is, but it's got to be dang triple or more, especially on a lot of, your common items. Automobile repairs. Yeah. Services. A lot of services. Stock up your pantry, your freezers, canning, however you preserve. Please stay on it. Stock up your pantry, like I said, even if it's just canned food. Rotate, keep an eye on that, on the expiration dates. Rotate out and refill your holes. Get a little bit at the time. You don't have to bust your wallet or your purse too bad right there. Okay, even if it's just a few extra items each visit you go to the store. The Department of Defense said that they are alerted about the potential maritime quote unquote mass migration from Haiti. I said that was going to happen, didn't I? I did. Into the United States. Well, of course they're coming here. Probably Florida would probably be the number one landing point. They are coming. And they're not just Joes and Jimmies from randomly South America. These could include hardened criminals that were busted out of jail over the last month, gang members from various gangs, militants, cannibals. Yeah, not your best folks. They're coming here. You know they are. Y'all, I tell you, deep doo doo, deep squeeze. God help us. Keep an eye on this best we can. But that was the Department of Defense admitting that they expect it. That means they're probably already on the way, some already here. Who knows? Who knows the number? Okay. Yesterday in my video, I mentioned that video of that teen fight that went on in Missouri, and I know several of y'all commented that I looked shaken. Yeah, it did. I mean, because I only watched it a couple hours before I made that video, and I think having more time to reflect on it, what shook me the most is that, well, two main things, is that it involves such young people, teenagers. Because I've watched videos of adults, that's different. I've watched war footage with reporters embedded with troops of various wars, seeing awful things, the uncut stuff. I've watched that stuff. And that's bad. It's horrible. But to me, this was something on a different level. It was kids trying to kill each other. Now, the one girl that was on the receiving end and got her head smashed in the pavement so many times, they say she's still clinging to life, at least what I read this afternoon. But I think that's number one, is that it was kids doing it to each other. And then the other thing is that nobody was stepping in. Like, there were people all around it. There were other fights going on around it. It was just a huge brawl, basically. But nobody was trying to stop it, even after it went to that level. They were recording, this one person was recording it like it was some kind of show. It was like a horror movie, except it's real life. It's demonic. These are demons. They've got to be. It's the only way I can rationalize this. Make sense out of it. Like, you can't make sense out of it. And that's just one instance. I hear that this happens quite often in that area. And that's just one part of the country. We know this is being, similar things are going on all over the place. No politician, there's no election that's going to rectify this. Okay. I hear people say, oh, we just got to get to November. You know, we get the T-Man in there and it's going to solve everything. No, it is not. I don't care who's elected. This is not going to get better. It's not going to stop. It's probably going to get worse. It's like, and the other thing that, watching this kind of stuff, you come to this realization, and watching, it's like the cumulative effect, not just this one video, but other things and things we see and hear and all this. It's like that realization that your elected officials, politicians, the, the powers that shouldn't be, they do not have your best interests at heart. It's quite the opposite. I won't get graphic, but it's quite the opposite. You know what I mean? And it's other, like government in general, government from top to bottom, local, state, federal, military, justice system, the legislative, executive, all the branches, all they do not have your best interest at heart. No. No. The only one I could maybe give a caveat to, maybe give an exception, and it depends on where you live, is your county sheriff. Your sheriff is probably the most powerful person in your county. I know that doesn't apply to everywhere. I get it. But that might be an exception. Maybe. But we are on our own. That means we are on our own. There was a time when I thought that, I guess I just had this naive thought that, yeah, the government actually wants to protect us, and the federal government's main job, which is supposed to be, is national security. They want the best for the citizens. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's not the case. And it's like when you are coming to realize that, you want to ignore it at first, and then it pisses you off, and then you come to just accept that's the way it is. So then you have to realize that we are on our own, and it comes down to local and who's around you, maybe even down to your street, your neighborhood, family, friends. Who do you trust? That's where it gets difficult and complicated. Military's not coming in here to save you. National Guard not coming in here to save you. Police, forget about it. Firemen, forget about it. 911 calls are, the wait is lengthening in most places. Not everywhere, I know. I saw in Pittsburgh, I believe it is, where between the hours of 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., there's just no police available. It's like, we're not going to come there if you call. I mean, think about that. Unless it's like a murder, and then we'll get to you when we can. Think about that. Could you imagine that 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago? No. What's it going to be like a year from now? 3 years from now, 5 years from now? What's it going to be like? If we're here, no political figure is going to come and save the day. Like I said. So what can we do? Got to think local. I know many of you do. Get to know the people around you. Depending on where you live, I know that looks different. Because that's what it's going to take. Security. You know, if an automobile rides through this little neighborhood that we're in, that's not normally here, especially if it's like cruising real slow, like it's casing things, we have eyes on that right away. Believe me. From multiple vantage points. Okay. If a person's walking through here and we don't recognize that person, and they're not just, you know, we can tell if they're just coming to visit somebody and they're just walking around, we're not going to make a big deal. We are watching that person. I mean, we're not going to go out and start something, but we watch them in case they do try, you know, start acting like they're really up to something. Unless they take action, then there will be a reaction, believe me. So think about that. You know, where you are, what can you do to fortify? What can you do to increase your security, your relationships around you? That's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Your sheriff. Do you know your sheriff, or at least know who it is, and their philosophy on security, on crime, and that kind of thing? Okay. But this Pittsburgh thing, I mean, that's like that old movie, The Purge. I mean, good grief. Unreal. Just unreal. But again, you know, no outside entity is going to come in here and save you. We know the only one that saves us. We know the answer to that now, don't we? Most of us here, you know, is Jesus, and He is coming back. We don't know when for sure. Are there signs? Yes, but it could be tomorrow. It could be tonight. It could be a year from now. It could be years from now. The big thing to remember is stay spiritually prepped and be ready, because just like the Bible says, it can happen in a moment. It can happen when people aren't expecting it. We just have to be ready. Okay, that is going to lead me into the passage. All right. Bear with me. Isaiah chapter 53, starting at verse 4. Surely He took up our infirmities and carried our sorrows. Yet we considered him stricken by God, smitten by him, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed. We all, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. Amen. That's one of my favorites because it talks about Jesus in the Old Testament. I always like when they do that, or when they did that. But this world is going its own way, and it's away from God. It's not staying close to Jesus. It's going its own way, and it's trying to not just anti-God, but create their own. And that's what they're trying to do. Of course, it won't work, but we don't want to be part of that. We need to be the light. Stay in the Word. Stay close to Jesus, and keep praying. All right. Well, share your thoughts. Let's stay safe out there. God bless you. I'll see you soon.